Welcome to the Sleepy G Show. I'm the host with the most. My name is Gomez, and today is a special treat. I am here with the man, the legend, Frank the Tank Fleming from Barstools. How you doing, Frank? How are you, man?
I'm doing all right.
Well, I gotta say thank you for coming on the show. It's a very honor to have you, man. I've seen your stuff on, your YouTube shows of cooking and all that stuff. I just saw the Western omelet one yesterday at work. Thought looked pretty damn good, actually.
Yeah, it's supposed to fluff up a little bit more, but it didn't fluff up. I must have made something wrong, but it tasted good. So that
It looked good.
I guess all that's important.
For me, I'm not a huge I'm not a huge onions and peppers guy myself, but that actually looked pretty good, I thought.
Neither am I. Neither am I.
So so we both got something in common in that. And I know, as a sports nut, I've seen you for mostly, as you're a huge Mets fan. I know this year it's a kind of a disappointing season going on this year. Not going to mention much on that just because
Kind
it's
of a disappointing season. That's like saying that uh, the bomb that we dropped that Oppenheimer made was kind of a big bomb.
yeah. I mean, you pick up Scherzer and what the hell is his name? Verlander?
Verlander.
Verlander. I thought you guys were like going to have a really great pitching staff, and you got those two this year. This past year.
The problem is with pitch counts and shit, Scherzer doesn't have that put out pitch anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So his pitch counts got worked up high. So he was only going 5 innings. Meanwhile, the Mets bullpen losing Diaz was overtaxed, and before you knew it, the bullpen was getting just lit up all the time, and it was just a steamroller. And you got Scherzer and Verlander don't like each other, and it was just a giant mess everywhere you look.
It was just one of those things like, why can't teammates just get together and be teammates? You know what I mean? Leave your personal shit outside.
And a big thing that hurt was the World Baseball Classic. It just created such a interference into the season. It just.
I know. Well, I'll be honest with you. I am a Yankees fan. Another disappointing season there.
Let me tell you about the Yankees right now.
Oh, please go ahead.
They might actually be. They actually might be in worse shape than the Mets.
I'm going to agree with you on that.
This is a team. There's a. I don't know if the trading of players is going to work out. What the Mets did, getting rid of all these players. I don't like the idea that they wanted. They may not try next year. That pisses me off.
Mm-hmm.
They got to be. I think they should still be aggressive and try to be a good team next year. And they better try to keep Pete Alonso.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But what the Yankees have is the Mets have incompetence. They don't have good scouting staff. They don't have a good player development staff, and their analytic department is awful. They got to make a change that can fix everything out.
Mm-hmm.
What the Yankees have is worse than it might be worse than incompetence, complacency.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean Cashman's been there for how many years now? You're talking.
It almost feels like he could take a shit on Hal Simon's desk, and Hal Simon still wouldn't fire him.
True, I might agree with you on that one.
And Aaron Boone might end up being the sacrificial lamb this year.
He might,
but there's a possibility he doesn't get fired because he's Aaron Boone's lightning rod and shield. He's Cashman's lightning rod and shield.
Yeah, but I think Cashman might be out before even Boone's even out.
Yeah, both should be out, but Cashman needs to be the one that has to go.
Yeah, I think it's time, man.
Let me tell you something. I'm a big fan of the New Jersey Devils.
I'm a respectful Rangers fan, but I respect the Devils as
from 1988
mm-hmm.
to 2012. The Devils only missed the playoffs in 1990, 2006, 1996, a year after winning the Stanley Cup, by the way, which is still baffling how they didn't make the playoffs that year. And 2010.
Mm-hmm.
No, 2011. 2011. Sorry,
they missed 2011. Yes, you're right.
So they missed the playoffs in 89, 96, and
6.
2011. And then they go to the Stanley Cup final in 2012, by the way.
Mhm.
But in that 25-year stretch, they only missed playoffs 3 times. 2005 doesn't count, obviously.
Right. It does not.
Those seasons can't count it.
You can't count that season exactly with the strike and
So,
everything.
so 25 years, they made the missed playoffs 3 times.
Mhm.
They went to the Stanley Cup final 5 times. They won 3 Stanley Cups. Couldn't do better. Lou Lamoriello's in the Hall of Fame, well deserved. But near the end,
Mhm.
his draft picks were awful.
Right.
He drafted fucking Stephen Matteau's son,
Yeah, he did.
and he sucked.
He was not one of the best. No, he was not very good at all. We've seen
I
him
know it was
play.
a late round pick, but he sucked.
Yeah, he's not the greatest. I know the Rangers almost picked him up, but they decided not to just because he's because of his dad. You know what I mean? It's one of
You
those
could have picked
things.
him in the second round,
Could have picked him in the third too.
but the Devils picked him in the first round, and even though they're still winning because they have Martin Brodeur, the seeds of a collapse were there.
They were, but the Devils, I respect. They were just a class act organization.
Yeah, they were.
It still are to me. I mean, as a
Yeah.
Rangers fan, I'm going to say it. I'm a diehard Rangers fan, and I think that the New Jersey Devils is a class act organization. And let me tell you, I got to see them play last year against Rangers Devils at Prudential. I went in January, and I said, "Wow, Rangers are up 3-1," but I go, "These kids are flying all over the Rangers like they did in the playoffs." You know, the Rangers were all over the Devils game 1 and 2. But man, I don't know what the hell happened with the Rangers with falling apart, doing something stupid, like the New York Giants did that one year when they went to rent a boat and party for a week. You know what I mean, for a couple days, and they were going to the playoffs or something, and they lost their composure.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with the in that series was the first 2 games the Devils were nervous. The first game they came out like holy shit, it's playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
and then they tried to like change up how they played. Game 2 they were still sloppy. Game 3 going to Madison Square Garden, they finally got their footing. Kirby Schmid kept them in the game. They won the game in overtime, and it was almost like okay, that's how we do it. And that's how they ended up taking over and winning the series.
Listen, I was pissed off at that, but I'll tell you this: there were so many good things that happened in that game for the Devils too. I mean, I think there was like 1 or 2 lucky bounce on goals that happened against the Rangers. You know what I mean? Like I remember one went off. I think I forgot whose stick and it went in the goal. You know, especially against Shatterkin because he was doing very well the first 2 games, and then all of a sudden defense was sloppy. Rangers passing was sloppy. All of a sudden they got overconfident saying, "Oh, it's the Devils. We got them." You know what I mean? I said, and I work with people who love the New Jersey Devils, and they're like, "Oh, we're done." I'm like, "Don't say that. It's only game 2." You know, then you see him creeping back in 4 games in a row. Oh, you know how hard it is to win 4 games in a series? I go, yes, I've seen it. Rangers have done it, come back from 3-1 to win 4-3. You know, in history, especially in 2014 when the Rangers were down to Pittsburgh, even a year before that. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I can't wait for hockey season to start as preseason's coming along in the next month or 2. And then the season starts. I'm looking forward to hockey. Am I going to get to any games this year? Probably not because the tickets are freaking expensive this year.
But going back to the old Devils,
Yeah.
they did go to the finals in 2012, lost to the Kings, but that's things are already starting to fall apart at that point. And what it's just that Lou Lamoriello and the organization got complacent, and what you end up happening is the next decade they only made the playoffs once, and that's because Lou Lamoriello probably should have stepped down maybe a couple years earlier. And it took a full decade to get back on track.
Mm.
The Yankees are now in that situation.
They're going to be in that situation for a little bit of time right now because especially signing Judge to that multi-million-dollar contract. I'm gonna be honest with you. I kind of lost touch of baseball when Jeter retired. Like I'll watch it here once in a while. If the Yankees make the playoffs, yeah, I'll watch it again. You know what I mean? I was a true fan of baseball when Derek Jeter played. Like when Clemens was around, Posada, all these, the Yankees that I've known growing up in the '90s to mid 2000s. You know what I mean? And just like basketball, I just got turned off for people who are looking for the money. Like LeBron James, the whole thing when he became a free agent for Cleveland, and they did this whole ESPN thing. You know what I mean? And he goes, "Oh, I'm going to take my talents to Miami Heat." I got so that's where I just started hating basketball more. It just became more of a, I don't know, I guess like a parade for some people. Where when you have like the old school guys like Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, all these guys who played the game because they actually truly loved to play, but also they were getting paid millions. But it didn't matter where they played; they just played the game. Jordan retires, unretires. He went to Washington for a couple of years, and then he buys the team. You know what I mean? Things like that. But I just feel like something changed with baseball a couple of years ago. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because team names change, like Cleveland Indians go to the Cleveland Guardians. You know what I mean? It just these odds and ends now. You know what I mean? And I feel like hockey and football now. You know what I mean? With the Washington Commanders, it used to be the Redskins. I kind of miss the Redskins name.
Yeah, I do too. But the political correctness that just like permeates everything in society now. So they ended up getting pressured by the
The somebody
blockers,
pressure.
and they kind
Yeah.
of had no choice.
I mean, I remember when they were just was it Washington team? It was just team for what was it like a season or two? I think they were Washington
Two
team for
seasons, yeah.
or 2 seasons, and they went to the Commanders, which I like the Commanders. It's a cool name. But supposedly they're talking about going back to the Redskins now with the new management.
That
Supposedly,
that would be nice. That would actually be nice. Bring back the great fight song.
yeah, and the team what it was stands for. I mean, Washington Redskins have been Redskins for how many years? You know what I mean? As long as
80,
I've been since I've been a football fan since the late '80s.
almost 80 years.
Yeah, so I mean, phew. Now the Dolphins. What are you thinking this year with Dolphins, man? I haven't heard much with Tua and them. Hopefully he's okay this season. I heard he beefed up a little bit.
Yeah, he did. You can't tell anything about preseason anymore. Preseason football is literally unwatchable and unimportant.
I watched the Giants Jets game last night, and that was pretty bad. You know what I mean? I was watching the game. I'm like, all right, so the Jets have all their starters, and the Giants have their second team in. And I thought the Giants and Jets game was pretty good until halftime. I watched the first half, and I thought it was decent. But the Giants had all their, the guys who they're going to try to figure out who they're cutting. You know what I mean? This year, since I got a plethora of wide receivers and offensive linemen, this year because our team always gets hurt with O line and receivers.
Yeah, the Dolphins issue is definitely going to be the offensive line because they got a guy on the offensive line that is feeble and incompetent.
And they had a running back situation, didn't they? You guys, Dolphins didn't have like a good running back at one point, or now they
They
do.
have a lot of running backs in camp. None of them are really like what you call stars, and they might end up being the ones that land Jonathan Taylor.
Ooh, I forgot about that. Yeah, Taylor's on the Indianapolis Colts. Yeah, Taylor wants out of the Colts this year.
Yep.
I wonder why
There's
that's.
a the thing is that the owner of the Colts has a big mouth.
Oh Jesus! What team doesn't have a big mouth? I mean, one of them, but the owner.
The owner has a big mouth. Jim Irsay, his father was an asshole too, but Jim Irsay has always been kind of a little weird, a little strange. Robert Irsay's own mother said one time that my son is the devil. He's um he's famous for finding a loophole in the NFL's relocation laws.
Okay.
A law that's now been closed, but the loophole is that if you move your base of operations to another city, you can move your team.
Oh,
So he snuck the Colts out of Baltimore at midnight.
moved him to Indianapolis,
Yes.
and that's how you got the Indianapolis Colts, and Baltimore loses their team.
Yeah.
Just
So
like,
Jim Irsay once tweeted out a picture of a naked woman.
oh my god, it's amazing what these guys get away with, though, man.
Uh, he has been to drug rehab. He's got a with a cocaine addiction. This is the Colts owner now we're talking about, Jim Irsay.
Yeah, Jim Irsay, yes.
So there's a contract dispute between Jonathan Taylor and the Colts, and there, I think a new CBA got like extended or something like that, and the number of running backs are unhappy that running backs aren't protected
Right.
because yes, what happens is they signed a rookie contract, and then teams go, okay, well you're a running back, you don't have any years left on your body, so their bodies get used up, and basically Jim Irsay is like, well, that's the position you play. You can choose a different position. He goes, but I'm not going to cry. The running back should stop crying and just focus on football and give them the best performance they can. And if they don't get the contract, that's tough. And he goes, too many running backs whine rather than worry about the players. At the same time, his team
Is struggling to
is his team's got a running back that's got a contract issue.
right.
And then he basically made a comment, goes, well, it's just unfortunate for running backs. He goes, you could find any type of running back out of college and pay him the league minimum salary until he's worn out, and then why would you sign a free agent running back?
Right.
So that did not go well with Jonathan Taylor, and
Some running backs.
it's almost like irreparable, his situation in Indianapolis.
I don't blame him.
Bad, and so the Colts are almost to the point where they have to trade him.
Yeah, they have to trade him quickly,
And
especially.
it's all because Irsay has a big mouth. I don't think Taylor even went to training camp. I think he's holding out.
I think he's holding out. I haven't heard anything about Taylor since like myself. I'm doing fantasy. I did one of my drafts last night, and I looked and it says Taylor, was not in camp. Because I was reading the little expert notes that when you're going through draft night, what to look for. But I didn't see Taylor I haven't heard Taylor's name besides the whole dispute until maybe last night when I was doing one of my drafts.
So, and it's all because Irsay has a big fucking mouth.
Yeah. Well, that's Saquon Barkley. Look what happened to him this year. He
well, that's different. The Giants and him couldn't reach a contract, so he's coming to camp on a deal, and there might be an issue at the end of the year.
I think he'll get his contract at the end of this year, or maybe during the middle of the year. I already know. I have a feeling that they'll be going into contract negotiations. I wouldn't be surprised mid-season. You know what I mean? Or towards the end when hopefully, the Giants are back in the playoffs again. You know what I mean? It kind of stunned everybody when the Giants made the playoffs this year. And the Vikings got knocked out pretty quickly. My brother-in-law is a huge Vikings fan, so for me, there was a smile on my face when we won. You know what I mean? Then we got spanked by the Eagles the next week.
Yeah.
So, what do you think the Dolphins are going to do this year? Do you think they're going to make history or playoffs?
They got to just keep Tua upright. If they keep Tua upright, they could be a threat.
Tua's a good quarterback, though. I think, except for a couple of times he got hit pretty hard.
Well, they got to get that's the problem. He seems fragile. That's what worries me. Is his health, his durability. I'm more worried about that. And they got so many weapons around him, so it could be a good year if he stays healthy.
If he's, then that's the key. Like for any team right now, can they stay healthy? You know what I mean? My worry. I like Tua. I think he's a good quarterback, man. I liked him when he was at Alabama. I liked him then, and I think he's a good quarterback for the Dolphins. I thought he showed resilience, especially he had a good relationship with Jason Waddle last year before he really got hurt.
Yeah, that's the big thing. They gotta stay healthy.
Now I know you guys just I know we're talking sports, but I wanted to actually get to one thing. Working with Barstool, they just had their 20-year award ceremony not too long ago, right?
Yes, on Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay, this just past Wednesday, and I actually saw the highlight of you. And never give up your dream, man. That's something that resonates with me right now, and something that I heard your story a little bit the other night when it was posted, and I'll tell you, Frank, you're a true inspiration, man, because of that. You know what I mean? Like being where you are right now, you're with Barstool, and that's something you said. Like you're the happiest man ever. And that's something I always look up to people like that, man, and you're a true inspiration for that.
Thanks.
I saw that, and I just said that's true. You just can't give up a dream, and that's something I'm chasing, a dream here. You know what I mean? I was actually, Brian Colburn, for my weekly mixtape. He's been my buddy for over 30 years. We did a show together, Playlist Wars. We had a show together, and we had to take a little bit of hiatus because both of our kids, his were older, mine were younger, so sometimes we couldn't get into times, and you know, and he told me how hard it is. No joke, it's hard being on your own. But I'm thankful for a lot of people who've come on, and thankful for you for even coming on too, sir. You know what I mean? It's a lot to me.
Well, yep. Of course, I actually was a college classmate of Brian Colburn at Montclair State.
Yes, I actually remember the one absurd thing he said. He goes, and he cheated off of me too. Brian's a great guy, man. I've known Brian for, oh my God, since high school. We both went to the same high school. I was eighth grade when he was a senior. They paired me up with him as my incoming freshman year buddy. So he was showing me around and all that stuff, and everyone said, "God, you guys look like twins." We're like looking at each other like, "No," you know what I mean? So we always everyone pegged us as we were brothers. Lo and behold, our friendship was always tight. We always said we were brothers. You know what I mean? Our families were very tight.
But yeah,
So but I just wanted to touch base on having you on the show, man. It really means a lot. I know you've been busy and all that stuff, and I said an hour, but I'll get cut to let you go early because I know you got things to do and you got stuff to go. But Frank, I really appreciate you coming on today. I really
yep.
can't.
I'm going to be making later tonight. I'm making a buttermilk air fried chicken.
That does sound kind of good, actually.
Yep, coming soon to Tank's Cooks.
Yes, and that's the other thing. Your YouTube channel. Before we hang up, before we call this a day, your YouTube channel. You're cooking up a storm, man. You had steak and Hasselbeck potatoes. Now,
Yep.
How do you get your ideas from the cooking? Is it people sending you stuff?
Yep. A lot of people send me recipes to my email, NJTank99@gmail.com.
Okay. So that's how you got the Western omelet, I believe, that you did the other
That
night.
wasn't actually thought of on my own. I was just
Okay.
looking for something.
Nice. Well, it looked good, like I said. Like you said, you didn't get fluffy enough, but it looked good, man.
But yeah, somebody sent me the what you call the buttermilk chicken recipe, so I'm gonna be cooking that up tonight.
Cool, man. So that should be going on good. And actually, I think my wife is making us chicken marsala for dinner with pasta, so that's a good thing. You know what I mean? Gonna have some good home cooking tonight.
Yes.
Well, listen, Frank, I really thank you very much for your time today. It means a lot to me. If you want to let people know where they can find you I know you're on Twitter, Instagram.
Well, I'm on Twitter at NJTank99, Instagram NJTank1975, TikTok Frank the Tank Barstool, and then you got YouTube Frank the Tank Fleming.
Nice. Thank you, Frank. It means a lot for you coming on, and like you said, never give up your dream, which I'm not.
That's
Hopefully-
right.
hopefully one day I'll be up there someday, you know what I mean? And, thank you for taking the time out today. We talked some good sports. We talked some good stuff, man. I really thank you, and I will hopefully see you soon, buddy.
All right, see you around.
Take care. Thank you.
All right, talk to you later.